everybody. I hope that you're all doing well. Welcome to today's video. Today we are just going to do a purely whispered ramble slash story time. If my mental planning is right, this video will go out the day before Christmas Eve. So I figured this would be a nice way to wrap up the Christmas season. I am, as you can tell, sitting very close to my microphone. I haven't sat this close to my mic in a while. I've seen a few comments, people saying that they miss the super up close whispering that I used to do. I've had many different setups throughout the years, I feel like, and some of them allow me to be closer than other setups do. So if you are one of those people, I hope that this makes you happy, and I hope that it sounds okay. I have brought us down to the basement today, mainly because I wanted this backdrop behind me. We put these gold Christmas trees up every year, and so this is what I wanted to do. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm using the nicer camera lens that I have. I don't use it often because it is a pain in the butt. It's very good for photography. Videography is a little bit different. It's a manual focus, so it's just very hard to focus on yourself when the camera is so far away. Anyway, you don't care about that, but a fun fact, this is the second time I filmed this video today. Because the focus was way off the first time, so I hope that it's okay. But yeah, we're just hanging out in the basement and we're just gonna chat, so I thought that it would be fun to do a story time about Christmas memories and experiences from my childhood, mostly, that I can remember. I can't remember if I've told any of them to you guys before. If I have, I'm sorry, but if you're new to the channel, odds are you've never heard these stories, so I hope that you enjoy. I'm trying to make sure that there are no other disclaimers that I need to put out there before I start. I do want to say, though, lastly, before we get started, that if you do celebrate Christmas, I hope that you have a happy and healthy Christmas weekend with your friends, your family, or if you're just hanging out at home by yourself, watching movies, eating food, watching YouTube, I don't know why I said it like that. I hope that it's a great Christmas for you. So, let's see. I have two. This is good that I filmed this before, because now I know for sure what I'm gonna say. I have two main, bigger memories that stick out to me. One was at my dad's house, and one was at my mom's house when I was very young. So the first one, I had to have been around 5 or 6, and at that time when I was younger, actually almost all the way straight through high school, I would say, I ate dinner at my grandmother's house 4 or 5 times a week, regularly. And that was our thing, that was our family time. And so there was one day, most likely the week of Christmas, where we were eating dinner, and upstairs we heard really loud bells, jingle bells or sleigh bells. And of course, my family is gonna hype it up, and they're like, what was that? What could that have been? And then we heard it again, and we heard a big thump, and it was either my dad or my aunt, I don't remember, but one of them was like, we gotta go upstairs, we gotta see what it is, let's go, Sam, we gotta see. So there goes 5-year-old me going up the stairs, and from what I remember, I don't remember every single detail again because I was very young, but there were I believe, presents that were left in front of the door, because it was the front of the house. There was a porch, stairs that went up to a porch, and then there was a front door up there. And in the little walkway in front of the door, there was presents. And they were like, oh my goodness, Santa was here. Santa brought your presents. And so what happened was, my grandmother had a neighbor. I've spoken about him on this channel before because I still go to that house often, and I see him all the time. She had a neighbor, an old Italian man, not that old, but he's you know, he's up there, and they had him play Santa. I never saw him, but they got him to like make the noises and do the bells and all that. And so he played Santa that year, and I will never forget that. That is one memory that has stuck with me my whole life. And I think it's so cute that everybody kind of went through that and like hyped it all up for me to like get me excited. So there was that. That was the dad memory. The mom memory. So I would say I was maybe around the same age, maybe a year older. And at this time, my mom and I lived with my aunt and my two cousins. So there was 5 of us in a 3-bedroom apartment. And one morning, I'm gonna assume actually it had to have been Christmas morning, we wake up, my cousins and I shared a room, we wake up, and my mom and my aunt are like, oh my goodness, you guys won't believe what Didi, my aunt, you'll never guess what Didi caught on camera. We're talking like the 90s now, so like the big camcorders. You'll never guess what she caught on camera in the middle of the night while everybody was sleeping. Which, who leaves a camcorder recording all night? But you know, to a 5-year-old, you don't know any better. So we're like, what? Show us. So they, I believe, hooked the camera up to the TV or popped the tape in. I don't remember. But anyway, I remember watching it on the TV. And so what they did was, while my cousins and I were sleeping, my mom was actually the one videotaping. And my aunt dressed up as Santa. And so on the video, you see the back of Santa while he's putting presents under the tree. And you can see my mom like kind of being like artsy about it, like making it seem like she's like hiding behind the wall or behind something so that Santa doesn't see her. And so, you know, you can imagine like 5-year-old me and my cousins too were like, whoa, like so amazed. And again, like that's so elaborate and creative on their part to do that for us. I think that's so funny. And still a good idea to this day, I think. And it's also funny too because, again, we were young, we didn't know any better. We're thinking about it now. I'm like, we lived in an apartment. There was no fireplace, there was no chimney. How'd Santa get in? Just broke through a window, like, I don't know. But we didn't know any better. We thought it was the coolest thing. And speaking of not having a fireplace and not having a chimney, this reminded me of another memory. So fast forward a couple more years, if I had to guess, I was 7, 8 years old, and now it was just my mom and I in an apartment. Still no fireplace, no chimney, nothing. But we had this cardboard fireplace. It was like 3D. You would sit it on the floor against the wall, and it was just like a little decorative, cheap little fake fireplace. And we used it for a couple of years. And at least 1 year, maybe 2 years, my mom did this. I don't know. a boot, like Santa's boot, big footprint. And I remember so vividly, on the sole of the boot, it said like ho ho ho, and it had like snowflakes on it, and they were big footprints. And so she stuck them on the floor as if Santa had come out of the fireplace, which again, so creative. I wonder if they sell that now. I mean, if they sold it back then, I'm sure they sell it now, and it's probably better than it was back then. But that's another great idea. Like, so creative. If you live in a house, you know, or if you don't live in a house with a fireplace, you know, you can still like bring that magic to, you know, your kids' experience, you know. And I remember in that apartment specifically, and I want you guys to tell me if you guys are still awake or not, you know, if you're not too comfortable. I want you guys to tell me what you as a kid left out for Santa, because that apartment specifically, I remember leaving out milk and Christmas red and green M&Ms. When I was younger, like much younger, I'm sure I did the milk and cookies and whatever. But when I got to be old enough where I could pick what I wanted to leave, I guess I would leave a big bowl of red and green M&Ms, and it would always be gone the next morning. I still eat red and green M&Ms. Don't come for me, they taste better than the original M&Ms. Anyway, so that was that memory. What else can I remember? What else did I talk about before? Oh, another one. This one is thanks to my aunt on my dad's side. She's very creative. She was with me. She was with my sister, who's younger than me. And two things. One, I remember a tradition we had every Christmas season was we would go see the Nutcracker. And when I was younger, it would be like a small like community show, and then she always said like I would work my way up as I got older to the nicer shows. I think the last time we went to see one, I don't remember where, it was in Manhattan. It was like a much like nicer one. But yeah, I saw so many productions of the Nutcracker. That was like our thing, I guess, when I was younger. But another thing that I remember that this aunt in particular did, she would write letters to me and to my sister. I believe she did it for her too, from Santa. And, you know, it would be a whole thing about, you know, how good I was throughout the whole year and how he kept an eye on me and I was a good student and a good daughter and blah, 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 blah. And it would be signed Santa. And I think what she probably did was she probably would, like, hand deliver it, like, to my mom or something, because the return address was like North Pole, like it was very legit. And I remember within the letter there was always an ornament in there, and it was like a simple gold, very thin ornament in the shape of, the only one I can remember was a bell, and I think I still have it, and it would have my name like etched on it. And there were a few years where that was put in the letter, so it was like it came straight from Santa's workshop and they made it just for me. And like, how cute is that? So yeah, that aunt in particular is very, very good with stuff like that. Let's see what else. You know what I never had, because I think I was too old for it already when it really became a thing, but I wish that it was a part of my childhood, because it was a part of my sister's, was the elf on the shelf, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like a little, is it stuffed? It's a little like stuffed elf, and it's supposed to be like Santa's spy. So he's sits in your house the whole Christmas season and he watches you and makes sure that you're good so that he can report back to Santa before Christmas. And there's a she as well. And the cool thing about it is that it's like magical, right? So you're not allowed to touch it, I think, from what I remember from when my sister did it. And the parents or guardians, whoever, have to move the elf every day. So every morning the elf is in a different spot. And so I remember, like, they would hype it up every morning and to be like, oh, where's the elf now? And my sister would go find it, and it was really cool. I think that's fun for parents too. Like, I would like to do something like that, you know, in the future when I have kids. And I remember my dad, like, he would like it, but then after a certain amount of time he'd be like, okay, like, I'm running out of places to put the dang elf. But I always thought that was really fun. Now I think nowadays kids have like more than one. It's become like a big thing. But I always thought that concept was really cute. I kind of wish that I had that. And then, I mean, another memory, I guess, not like Santa or like magic related, magic, I guess, was with my dad's side of the family, and we would make what we call 𝓢𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪, which is like an Italian thing. It's essentially fried dough, but the important part of it is the recipe of the dough. And the recipe is my great-grandmother's, my dad's grandma, I believe. That was then passed down to my grandma, and then passed down to my dad, and then I, God willing, when I have kids and a family, I would love to continue the tradition as well. That's like one of my favorite traditions ever, and I like don't ever want it to die. But essentially, you make the dough usually the night before. Make a lot of it. You know, the typical egg, flour, sugar because it's like a dessert kind of thing. White wine, which you can actually like taste when they're done, which is really good. And so we usually make it the day before. My dad usually just handles that part. And then when you actually sit down to do it, you roll the dough in like a pasta roller. You know how they make homemade pasta. Cut it into different shapes. There's two main ones that we do. Line them all up on baking sheets to get them ready to fry. Preheat the oil. You fry each of them for like a minute less. Set them out so that they dry and cool down. And then when you're all done, you plate them. Drizzle honey. Heat up the honey so that it's easier to pour. Drizzle the honey over it. And then add sprinkles. Rainbow sprinkles. And then what we do is usually we make like a whole plastic bin of it, or like box of it, and give them out to people as like little Christmas gifts to like friends and neighbors and whatever. And it's one of my favorite traditions. It's one of my favorite things to do every year. I look forward to it every year. It reminds me of my grandmother, who's no longer with us, but it just like, it feels like she kind of lives in that tradition, if that makes sense. We actually just did it a few years ago. Got together and we did it, and my boyfriend was able to experience it for the first time, which was very special, and it tasted so good. It was great. It was a good time. So that's another one. And then, I mean, as you could probably tell, and if you've been subscribed to me for a while, you know this already, but Christmas is like up there for me, like #1 favorite holiday. You know, I just love gathering and the decorations, the lights, the music, gathering Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, giving loved ones their presents, and more importantly, you know, celebrating the birth of Jesus, and it's just very special, and I love it. Even in college, like, I remember my junior year specifically. My senior year, my friends had a party too, but I couldn't go because I had to work. But my junior year specifically, I remember we threw a party in my friend's like dorm apartment, like apartment style dorm. Ugly sweaters, Christmas cookies, we had decorations, like it was like a full-on Christmas party. And and that is, I think, one of my favorite college memories was that night. We had so much fun. And even after college, I think December of 2019, in this very basement, I threw a Christmas party. Again, ugly sweaters, food, drinks, lots of wine. Everybody slept over. Great time, great time. December of 2019, too, I did my first SantaCon ever, which I'm good to never do it again, but I did it. That was the first one, and it was a lot of fun. I wore a red Christmas onesie and a Santa hat, a light-up necklace. It was great. It was fun. So, you know, I'm excited to celebrate in a few days. You know, it's gonna be a smaller scale. It's gonna be like Thanksgiving again. We had Thanksgiving here, and it's gonna be like Thanksgiving again. The same people, but just with a few less people. So I'm very excited. Get dressed up. You know, it's just fun. Kind of stinks that we don't have any snow. At least where I am, it snowed once, and it wasn't a lot. And the next morning, it like melted. But at the same time, I guess it's kind of good so nobody has to drive in the snow. But I think I saw it's gonna be like 52 degrees on Christmas this year, which is a little scary. Thanksgiving was like 60, 65. It's a little weird, but whatever. But yeah, guys, that's really it. I know I'll have 1 or 2 more videos next week for you, so it's not the last video of 2021, but I do want to thank you guys for a great year here on YouTube. The last couple months, I feel like I have been slacking a little bit, but there's just been a lot of adjustments in my life lately. All good things, but, you know, I just feel like I haven't, like I've missed a couple uploads here and there, which I don't like to do, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'm letting myself kind of relax with it a little bit. But it was a great year here on YouTube, as it always is, and January we're coming up on year 7. 7 years on YouTube. That's crazy. So I gotta do something to celebrate that. Don't know what yet. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll have a cake, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Another exciting thing too, this is just a plan. So if it doesn't happen, don't kill me. It's a plan, and it'll most likely happen. But December 26th, the day after Christmas, my boyfriend and I are planning on filming an ASMR video together. I know. It only took 8 months. We gotta figure out what we're gonna do. I have a couple ideas. He has an idea, which is a good idea, but it's gonna be harder to do, so I don't know. We'll figure it out, but either way, it would be cool to have him on this channel. A few of you probably have met him already over on my second channel. He's been in a video or 2. But it'd be nice to have him on my main channel. This is like the home channel. So that'll be fun. So look out for that. And yeah, like I said, I hope those of you that celebrate have a great Christmas weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed,